Laura Kuenssberg has warned Boris Johnson to expect a battle from the House of Lords as he continues to push through his controversial new Brexit legislation. The government has put pressure on peers to not block the Internal Market Bill, which passed its first hurdle in the Commons on Monday with a majority of 77. Mr. Johnson's spokesman said he expects the Lords to abide by the Salisbury Convention, which means the House of Lords should not stop legislation that is included in the governing party's manifesto. This comes after the Prime Minister was forced to compromise over the bill to avoid a rebellion in his own party. But the BBC's political editor believes this move was just to avoid the embarrassment of a rebellion in its own party rather than Mr. Johnson backing down on his master plan. Ms. Kuenssberg said, "What Downing Street has agreed is to provide an extra check in the process, giving Parliament the ability to vote to stop ministers using the controversial powers they desire." In other words, the government still wants to change the deal it has already done with the EU, the agreement that has already been written into law. Whatever you think of that, asking for extra permission from MPs does not mean that ministers have backed down on the overall principle that provoked such outrage. Ms. Kuenssberg added the compromise would not change Mr. Johnson's plan, as he still has the advantage of a majority government when the bill completes its journey through the Commons next week. She said, "Aside from anything else, this is a government with a huge majority, so giving Parliament a lock is not exactly a big restriction. And this move does not mean that resistance in the House of Lords will disappear. And for that matter, the EU's upset at a tense time will remain. The move does mean the government is unlikely to have the embarrassment of a rebellion in its own party when the draft laws are back in the Commons next week. But don't mistake that for Downing Street giving up on its plan which caused such outrage at the start." On Wednesday, the government said they had agreed a deal with rebels including Bob Neill and Damien Green. This now means Parliament must vote for a motion before the powers can be used by a minister. Their joint statement said, "There is near unanimous agreement that the government must be able to use these powers as a final resort, that there must be legal certainty, and that no further amendments are required on these powers."